Welcome back, I'm Stealth. This is the September 2nd, 2024 ban list. Now we're gonna do a bit of a deep dive and a quick glance on some of these. So let's go through. Fiendsmith's Lacryma, finally. Fiendsmith has been hit. For the past month, Fiendsmith has ruined the game by bolstering Snake Eyes. That deck just tore through, and finally it's been hit. Appaloosa is not a once per turn, it's a once per chain. So you really only have 4 uses out of the card before it's useless too, unless you find a way to restore its attack. But we're glad it's gone, because it really hit hard. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity. That thing was a level 12 triple or double tune monster, which was an absolute nightmare. And the reason for it is because King Calamity would negate all your effects and restrict you from using effects until the end of the turn. This negate also lasts until the end of the turn. Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. Same reason as Fiendsmith's, really. Fiendsmith's kind of broke it. Like, it was really powerful when used with Fiendsmiths, so I'm kind of glad it's gone. Now onto the limited Eva, finally. Eva's gone. Now Eva's actually quite a decent card. It was banned before because its host deck, now I don't remember what it was in the host engine, but it made Eva so powerful that it had to be banned to kill the deck. Ash and Poplar. Snake Eye, Ash and Poplar are very, very good. Because they're both parts of the Snake Eyes engine, which completely dominated the game, making it you had to use Snake Eyes in order to win. And other than that, it's just like really strong for an engine. So I'm kind of glad they're now hit to one just to limit the consistency. Number 14, C40, to counteract the Gimmick Puppets lock, the Gimmick Puppet FTK. They would do damage for string counters, and that damage would rack up high. Branded Fusion, we don't know why it's limited. It's limited in Master Duel as well. I don't know why. To people, it's kind of pointless why. As Branded kind of moved on from being the meta. Opening of the Spirit Gates was a Ubel hit, which was kind of needed to keep Ubel in check. But Prosperity also did the same by limiting the consistency, but opening of the Spirit Gates really just kept it in check. But it's still playable. Saligan Summoning, we're glad that it's gone. We are glad that it's at 1. Because it's just gonna limit Campires. That Grasslock Screener, 60 card decks are back. Brilliant. They're always nice to go against, really. And finally, Skill Drain. God, Skill Drain was a painful one. Because Skill Drain would shut down every effect and was not nice to go against. The semi-limited. Blast of Dragon Ruler of Infernos. Well, all the Dragon Rulers, they're finally coming off. And I'm kind of glad it's coming off. Because we haven't had that format in, what, a decade? A decade we haven't had that format for. It's definitely been power crapped. Lunar Light Tiger's finally off. I don't see why it was on there. Who knows? But again, power crapped kind of took it off. It was only played at 1. So putting out 2 was also a bit of a waste. But hey, we'll take it. Colossus really is going to cause a bit of a problem in like rogue decks. So that whole thing is live again. And here we go, the funny part. Armageddon Knight is really nice. Armageddon Knight, I feel like it should have been let off last ban list. we waited 1 or 2 ban lists too long for it to be released. That respect to Unicorn Kieran, I feel like it's another power crap issue. It wasn't powerful enough. Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty good from what others have been saying. But this card it didn't really need to be on here. It didn't really need to be on there for that long. I'd say last ban list. Clash Fire was on there for way too long. The power crap that it had before it could come off is enough. Red Rose. Red Rose Dragon will bring back Dragon Links and Synchro Turbo. If you can turbo out Synchro Monsters with Red Rose and Link Monsters with Red Rose, why? I understand Ancient Fairy Dragon is being errated, and I don't know about Dang Long. I guess it's another power crap issue. Well, why Red Rose? I've briefly touched upon Dang Long, but Ancient Fairy is another power crap issue. Dang Long, I don't know. I'm guessing it's power crap. Time Seal will definitely get hit in the next ban list, because it restricts you to 2 special summons per turn. I'm surprised how Wind is not on here, as El Shaddoll Winder is really good. It's just a once per turn special summon, but for both players. I have no clue how it's not on him. I'm guessing it's because Shadows aren't really that much powerful anymore, compared to 2014's 3-way format. Now, anyways, onto the list. They made a mistake here. That's supposed to be a 1 on this list. Dueling that, just fixed it though. Anyways, we have up first is a hand trap, Nibiru the Primal Being. Really nice. 2 Dogmatic Nexus, again, could be used for anything, to be honest. Like, this could be used for anything, so like an Ishian, a Fleur de Lis, Theo the Iron Fist, Ecclesia, Dogmatic or Ecclesia, the Virtuous. That's what these cards could be used for. I put Dogmatic Nexus for the attack points. Other than that, I use Fleur de Lis. Albion Shadow Dragon you only need 1 off because it's a really good consistent booster and it just ramps up a little. That little helps though. Bestial Beldrick is just there for disruptions, really. I mean, you effectively have a pseudo negate, but instead of negating it just banishes. So it's good. It's good at the cost of a tribute, which I would say is brilliant. 2 Shadow Beasts. It's nice to know that you're able to draw 1 outside of the draw phase. Other than that, you're really just searching cards. So just having that draw is a nice bit of variety. And also does help when you can't add cards. So that's really nice as like a fallback plan. Squamata just aids the beast in getting into the graveyard. There's not really that much you can do with it, apart from its flip effect to target anything. But other than that, Shaddoll Squatter only puts other Shaddows for more disruption or extensions. So it's a bit of a utility card. Fallen of Albaz is your core card. You only need 2 of them. You shouldn't have much. Aluba, the Jest with Despia searches any branded spell. Or trap. I'm currently running 4 branded spells and 3 branded traps. Those being Branded Fusion, Branded Bond, Branded and White, Branded Lost, Branded Retribution, Judgment of the Branded, Branded Sword, Screams of the Branded. Okay, so 4, never mind. So 4 of each, that brings it to 8. Really, it's just decent for searching out Branded Fusion or Branded Lost. That's the only times you're going to use that card other than Fusion material. Hound is part of a 1-card combo to actually synchro summon, which is really good. It's really good in a sense where it is one of the only few ways that you can 1-turn synchro summon and gain another special summon from deck on top. Nail Shaddoll Aerial is a nice disruption. You only need it at 1 because your main disruptions you'll get out of turn 1. But if you manage to get this card out, GG's. Because at that point, like, you can either revive on your banish Shaddoll, which you use Albion to banish them, or you can banish up to 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard, banish them, your opponent won't be able to bring them back that easy. That's what we like. Reshaddoll Wendy is really nice. In a sense where its flip effect special summons from deck face up or face down. Its graveyard effect is the same, but it's only for face down monsters. But it only works on Shaddolls. But that's still a good chunk of the deck being accessible just from 1 card. And is part of a 1-card combo to synchro summon. Ash and Ghost Ogre are just there for disruption. They have no other purpose. They're just there for disruptions. And it is possible to recycle them back. Hulk is the only tuner you'll synchro summon for, and with its effect, you'll bring back the Wendy from graveyard. That is what you'll be doing with Falco, nothing more, nothing less. Despy Tragedy, you have a choice when you're fusion summoning. You either go for the Mirror Jade package, which is Brand Fusion to Lubellion, then Mirror Jade, or the Despy package, which is Lubellion to Masquerade or Kiberatus. I guess you can run it with Red and White to extend it to get both in 1 go out, but really, it's going to be a lot more tricky to pull off than just going for one of those 2 packages, which is probably the main reason why it's only at 1. You'll only need 1 Tragedy, and you should only be going for the Mirror Day package most of the time, and the Despy package after. Effectively, there's just a hand trap, so with all the monsters gone, out of the way, Fusion Deployment brings out Fawn of Abbas a little easier from the deck, but Fusion locks you, which is what you'll be fine with that as you're running 12 Fusion monsters. Branded in White is an extender and a starter in 1. A starter in a sense where you can Fusion summon if you don't have Branded Fusion, or you can extend into go in the Trickster package, which is both the Despia and the Mirror Jade package in 1. Really nice way to just tie them together. Branded Fusion is one of your core cards. Like, you cannot get that out without having to. You cannot get it without having to put some investment in. Like, it got hit quite roughly. It was limited to 1, which hits the full force branded players, but the branded players like me, who only need 1, will remain unaffected. So in exchange of having 1 branded bond, 1 branded fusion, but we have 1 branded bond instead to keep up with the ban list. This thing should be a-okay. This thing revives 1 special summon for hand and recurves from banish, which is really what you'll be doing. You'll also be using Shaddoll Fusion a lot. You only need it at 2 as it can function on 2. You don't really need it at 1. But this will get your. This is this combo starter for the Draco Berserker. Pot of Avarice, target 5, shuffle all 5, then draw 2. Works on your extra deck. So I use it when I'm all out of Mirror Jade ammo. I get Titanic Lubellion, Albion, and Albalathus, being the 4th. And whatever is left in the graveyard I just choose between. So it's fine. Our Shaddoll Fusion's just a spell speed 2 fusion spell. It is another starter to go into Draco Berserker, but can also just really hit with this, so just keep. It's just there's supposed to be 2 options. Super Pulleys in there, as you can just use your opponent's monsters fusion material. Branded Loss is both an offensive and a defensive card. And it's offensive because it can add Albion from deck to hand as an extender. It's defensive because it protects your fusion effects. So it'll be Branded Fusion, Branded and White, Shaddoll Fusion, Form of Abaz, El Shaddoll Fusion, Super Polymerization, Rebellion, Albion, Branded Banishment, Necrofusion. They will be your main target. They will be protected by this card, without a doubt. And it's good. Infinite Impermanence. That too is just a basic counter. There's nothing more, nothing less. It's just that good. It's just good enough to be run at 2. Evenly Matched is strong, but you won't be able to see it often, and you shouldn't be seeing it often because it's situational. Rash Shaddoll Incarnation just recycles and then extends, which is pretty good if you think about it. Pretty good for the Shaddoll engine that we're using here. It is quite good. Screams of the Branded revives a fusion monster. So there's even more recycling, and in turn, even more ways just to get the monsters out. Necrofusion just uses monsters from the graveyard as fusion material. You'll be using this card quite a fair bit from the amount of times your graveyard will have more than 20 cards in. Branded Sword relies on your branded spells and traps, so this one's a bit situational, but you can get all 5 tokens out really easily. Like, there is no problem with it. It's just there as a nice way to deal with a lack of firepower, really. Dogmatic Punishment sends a monster from extra deck to graveyard to destroy a monster on field and then locks you. That destruction should only be used on your opponent's turn to stop an end piece of a board. That's the only reason why this card is in it. Judgment of the Branded. It's a nuke on your. It's basically a nuke in a Spell Speed 2 trap card. In a sense where if your opponent plays monsters that are too powerful, you punish them for it. You're kind of being. It's kind of a. Is this a judgment? Is it not? Your opponent doesn't realize it's a judgment of the Branded until it's too late. Branded Retribution is a nice counter trap, which not only recycles monsters. So if you had all your monsters that list Fawn of Albaz, so Rebellion, Titaniclad, Albalenitus, and Albion, all of them in the grave, you'll be able to recycle all of them, and you should be A-okay. That's what this card does. It is nice when it does that. And onto the extra deck, we have Mirror Jade as the main boss, Construct as another boss monster. These two typically are out during the same turn, and usually will last until the end board, so these two are definitely end board cards. Rebellion's a nice extender, is used often. It is one or two extensions. Albalenitus is a Mirror Jade target to get your Shaddoll Fusion from deck to hand if you can't. Despia Curatus and Masquerade are both part of the Despia package, but Masquerade forces your opponent to take damage, and Despia Curatus does actually prevent. So Despia Curatus and Masquerade do actually coexist. Most people that I played with use one or the other. I use two, since you can really just pop both and just win that way. Titaniclad is played at 2 because we have 2 Dogmatic Nexuses in here. It just brings them from deck to hand that much easier. Albion the Branded Dragon just adds a branded spell or trap, and then fusion summons if you can. So if you fusion summon with it, you should be fine. If you want to use Albion, you Fawn of Albaz, so you Branded Fusion into Albion, Albion banish it and Rebellion in defense mode, activate Rebellion, discard 1, shuffle Albion and Vulnerable back into attack, bring out a Mirror Jade. That is what you'll be doing with this from time to time. For a lot, well, you actually. It's really a good card to just bring out another monster without fusion locking and get a branded spell trap from deck to field. Cologne is part of a one-card combo. Now I'll explain the two one-card combos in here, but it's part of the one-card combo that Synchro summons and Omni and just Permanegate on top. And it also can't be destroyed by battle, so if you need a quick defense, you can pop it. It's really viable. It's a nice utility. It is quite good. Definitely would at least consider it. Windsor is possibly one of the best floodgates I've seen for a while. But the reason being, Windsor is basically similar to Time Seal, which we discussed earlier, where one player can special summon up to twice per turn. Windsor changes it where both players can only special summon once per turn. And because of that, it's got a stronger effect for hard materials, with Shaddoll's not seeing that much play anymore, despite having some very powerful cards like Winter. Now we're on to the Synchro monster herself, Jacob Berserker. It's completely generic. So when your opponent activates an effect, non-target banish spell speed 2. Really good. If it destroys an effect monster by battle and sends it to graveyard, it gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's attack and can attack again in a row. So this thing kinda helps with the firepower issue and is a free complete annoyance to deal with. People will find it hard to get rid of if they aren't prepared. Number 38 is the only Xyz monster ran in this engine. Simply because it's just a quick negate attach. Negating and attaching, I'm pretty sure this is the only card that can do that. And rightly so, because it is possibly one of the strongest and most underlooked types of removal in the game. Your opponent will not be able to get their card back without having to get through number 38, which you can just revive and repeat the cycle. Onto the side deck. Now, the side deck is nearly fully interchangeable, with only 3 cards not being interchangeable, those being Ghost Mourner, as it's recommended for this type of engine, though doable. Branded Banishment and Triple Burst you definitely don't want to remove from side deck, you want to keep it in there. So you have Ghost Mourner, Tachyon, Neo Galaxy Tachyon Dragon, Juglubion, Normal Tachyon, Despian Lulworth, and Bishul Daspatir. So the extra deck monsters, with the exception of Triple Burst, you can actually interchange, and you can interchange Ghost Reaper. But the reason being, you don't physically need them. They're just, Ghost Mourner is good to have in case you need a way to deal with effect damage and one-time kill your opponent. It's a nice aid for that. It also negates effects, which is probably the main reason why you should be running it. Tachyon is a nice, you want to use a powerful engine, but you shouldn't be overpowering it enough. And its effects to negate and restrict is actually quite strong. Now, it's not strong enough to see play, but it's strong enough where, yes, a normal casual player would consider it. I would see it as a problem. Juglubion is actually a good card to bring out the Chaos number, but you don't really need it here. You can change it for another card. Same goes with Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon. You don't need it, you can change it for another card. It's just there to have a fan favourite. Also, it's just there because as much as you don't need a side deck, you could use it in this engine to really great success. i.e. be a Red Dragon Archfiend, engine, a competitive one at that, right after King's Cross was released. And I beat Telements with it. And I also beat Branded Daspiel with it, so it does have its niches. Lulworth and Bestial Despoteer, you don't actually need them. Yeah, they have negates on them, but do you really need them? Probably not. Because you kind of have a do-it-all end board. Yeah. So, Lulworth you don't exactly need. But it is quite nice to have. Despoteer is a negate. And it is fine. It's a nice card just to, like, negate. Shuffle back into your opponent's deck. Which your opponent might not see coming. You can catch them off guard with it, which is nice. But other than that, that is a post September 2nd, 2024 ban list, and a Branded Shaddoll deck list on top of that. Enjoy it. Well, I'm going to, this is all we have time for today. I would have a good day, evening, night. Like, subscribe. I'm out.